Whoosh.
Guy got headshot with a bow. It's a wild game.
Somebody shoot my boy.
Where are you?
It's 700 meters away.
Surely you guys have like homework or something to do. Well, here we are, getting ready for some Lord of the Rings RPGs with all the Fortnite Friday's finest joining us here. And I was mad to make sure you can't see my PDF when I pull it up, though I guess you guys could just go and get it. Are y'all still on here? I can't.
Yeah, everybody's just quiet.
Bear with me.
Yeah, we're just trying to watch old Proudfoot
Everybody's listening in for the millions.
making up these custom emotes here.
That's right. So we are. So this whole thing is called Shire Adventures, and this thing, the actual story is called A Conspiracy Most Cracked, and essentially what's going on is you all are all friends in various ways that we can play out as we delve deeper into our story together. But y'all are all friends, and you've all received a letter, and not one letter, but each of you received one separately. And the letter is from Bilbo Baggins, who is a famous Hobbit from the Shire, and you guys are familiar with Bilbo also as friends. And he has called you to be a part of a group called the Conspirators of the Red Book. And you're intrigued, and he's invited you to come to Bag End on this night. And so as you all are walking to Bag End, you find one another on the road, and you come up to his famous green door, and that is where we're at. I'm going to read a little section to you, and then you can do as you will at that point. Let me pull up my story here. All right. After quite a long walk under stars that have come out blazing and bright after an afternoon of heavy rain, you've finally come to the round green door of Bag End, the home of the strange and famous Bilbo Baggins. Standing there upon the mat, you find yourselves surrounded by friends. You all know each other. It seems as though Bilbo called for a collection of friends to join him this evening. Just as one of you is about to ring the bell, the door is pulled open, and you see standing in the front hall none other than Master Baggins himself. He offers each of you an energetic greeting, quickly ushers you in with a plethora of welcomes, thank yous, and lovely to see yous. Before you can gather your wits about you, you've been swept into the warm embrace of Bag End and led into the parlor, where a lovely fire, fresh mugs of ale, plates of dainties, and several cushioned chairs and sofas offer a much-needed spot of rest and relaxation. Bilbo, a twinkle in his eye, ushers you each into a seat, but takes none for himself. A few moments after you've finished the first plate of food, the obviously excited Master Baggins can no longer contain himself. He places one hand behind his back and another in his vest pocket, standing tall to ensure that he has your attention. You are all undoubtedly curious as to why I've called you here this evening. Well, he leans in, the fire causing the twinkle in his eye to dance merrily. His hand sweeps from behind his back toward the parlor window. I'm hoping you will partake in a little adventure. Nothing so grand as my own, I'm afraid, but in return for your aid, I will provide each of you with a place in my memoirs and a fair share of my eternal gratitude. He grabs a glass of wine off the table and takes a sip, pausing for an effect. Now I know what you're thinking. There goes old Bilbo again, taking after that wizard Gandalf and sending you hobbits off into the blue. Well, I can assure you it's nothing of the sort. Just a little trip to Mickle Delving, and back to recover what one might call a family heirloom from the Maytham house, a map of the Shire, supposedly made by the old Took himself, with all sorts of precious annotations. Now, I've sent many letters to the custodian, Malva Slowfoot, asking if I could have it back, even offering fairly generous donations. But for some reason, she has provided no replies. So I thought we needn't tell her or her husband. After all, we're talking about something that belonged to my grandfather and would not be out of place here in Bag End. Most of all, we needn't alert that pesky dog that the Slowfoots have to set guard the place. Sharp as a tack, that beast. He sniffs me out every time I come near. Besides, I know some of you place more value on local gossip than others, and even just being seen in the sight of the company of Mad Baggins might be enough to ruin your reputation forever. But those of you with spirit, which I know you all have in spades, or I'd not have called you here tonight, won't you aid me on this errand of particular importance, my fellow conspirators? And he looks at each of you eagerly, waiting for your response.
Did you say a place in your memoirs is all that we were getting for this?
And my eternal gratitude.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Bilbo, I would love to go find a map for you. Maps are some of my favorite things, and I've been working on a map of the Shire myself.
Interesting. And he says, yes, I have lots of maps as well. And he points around the room, and there's several maps on the wall that he has maps of the Shire and other things that he's collected over the years.
I'll just take a minute to peruse all the maps.
You actually see one of the Shire that you're pretty fond of.
I'm going to pull out a map of my own and add to it from some information that I find on one of Bilbo's maps.
Yeah, there's actually a map on a table nearby that looks like he has scribbled a path. Looks like he's scribbled a path on that map. That's kind of a strange way to get places.
Uncle Bilbo, what's with this strange path that you've got outlined here?
He goes over and he folds the map up and he says, "Oh, we can talk about that once you've agreed to our little arrangement."
What would you call this exactly? Is this stealing?
This is an adventure. This is retrieving family heirlooms. And perhaps a little burglary as well. But all good stories have a little burglary in them. And you get the idea that he's wanting to tell his own story and then kind of digresses.
All right, I guess I'll look at Shaggy and I'll go if he goes.
Shaggy's in. He wants to know when he would like to start this adventure.
We'll go first thing in the morning after breakfast, of course.
What about second breakfast?
That's a given. We wouldn't leave between breakfast and second breakfast. Unless, of course, your party's already left you. Or you left your handkerchief behind. Not that that's ever happened.
Yeah. I'm just going to start eating.
Yeah, there's plenty and to spare.
So, Uncle Bilbo, do you have any idea how we could get a hold of this map when we get there?
So, just so you all know, before I answer your question, the Matham House in Mickledelving is kind of like the capital of the Shire, kind of, and that's where the mayor of the Shire lives. And this Matham House, the hobbits have these artifacts that they call Mathams, and they can be just about anything, right? They can be something that has a significance to hobbits alone, or they could be something that is something more significant to Middle Earth. But anything that hobbits find important, Bilbo has even like lent some of his own things to the Matham House that you guys know. Like you guys know that he has his his armor and that kind of stuff there that he took on his adventure to Lonely Mountain, or he had it there. And so he had loaned it. It's just kind of a museum essentially. And so this map is in this museum, and he wants it back. Is essentially what's going on. You guys would have known what the Matham House was. So, to answer your question concerning how do you get it back, well, I have it on good authority that the Matham House is typically kept unlocked, as long as you're not suspicious. And so, if you guys can stay under the radar, I feel like it should be a pretty easy case.
How much radar are we talking about? What's the security look like?
Well, and so there, you guys know this too. Throughout the Shire, there are these people that are not there. These hobbits that are called bounders, and bounders are like they're kind of like just roaming police, and they're just security officers essentially. And then there's a one rank above bounders that are called sheriffs that have more of a physical presence.
So funny.
Yeah.
Like my character description on paper, I'm from Mickledelving, and I'm a bounder who aspires to be a sheriff.
Yeah, that's not when you told me that. I thought this is going to be interesting.
Got an insider on the team already.
Right. So yeah, you would just have to stay under the radar of the bounders, and obviously those people who like to talk to the bounders in order to kind of curry favor with them.
I'm just gonna stare down Olo.
I have some skills in entertainment and music. Perhaps when the time is right, I could see if I could gather up a crowd, and make it, just a distraction away from the Metham House.
Sounds
Are
good.
you sure you're not going to be wanting to help them?
I want to help my Uncle Bilbo,
All right.
and I am particularly interested in this map.
And the Old Took, you guys know Old Took is like this ancient hobbit, and his renown went past the Shire as a friend of Gandalf, and of course Bilbo's a friend of Gandalf as well. But the name Gandalf is kind of mystical to most Shire folk. Causes mischief. Since
Do we know the level of destruction that Bilbo's willing to go to in order to get this, in case we get caught?
Okay, so that's another thing. The Shire is a really, how we say, non-violent place, and so there's no. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. This is and I guess it's kind of a rules thing too. You'll notice you didn't pick an alignment or anything, because there's basically two powers in this world that you're in. There's like the good, and then there's like shadow, and so then the shadows building. You guys know this, and so especially like a ranger. The whole purpose of the ranger is just to guard the world from the shadow, in a lot, especially the northern part of the world, because of what went on even north of the Shire. And so everyone is generally interested in, there's no animosity here. You're not going in on like a Rambo mission. But I mean, you guys can do what you want. But yeah, this isn't like you're not going to take back Helm's Deep or this is like you're going to a civilized place, to a museum.
No Hobbit has ever shed another Hobbit's blood in the Shire.
Right. There's like a Hobbit lady there who's the keeper of the museum. Yeah. And the Hobbits, they can take care of their own pretty well. But yeah, so just saying, this is not, there will be time for that sort of thing. But this is probably
not Mickle Delving.
Not Mickle Delving, no. Mickle Delving's it's like of an uppity place, even though Bilbo's pretty uppity for Hobbiton as well. And you guys know too, when he says Mickle Delving, it's 2 days. It's not like down the road. You're going to have to stop in a town, and you're going to have to stay the night, and then you'll have to finish the journey the next day. Which he'll kind of outline that for you tomorrow.
I'm ready to go.
What time is it?
Yeah.
It's getting pretty late. You guys
Ready to hit the hay.
It's like dark, yeah. And he offers you, and he just waves his hand down the hallway, and there's dozens of rooms in Bag End, and he just says, "Your choice."
I'll
sleep in the closest one to the door. Yeah.
All right. So you guys are going to turn in for the evening.
Yeah.
And after a long journey and filling up with lots of healthy foods from Bag End, you wake up the next morning and you smell breakfast, and it smells like fresh baked bread and honey and things that that are just lovely things to eat. And it smells like hospitality.
I'm going to see how much breakfast I can consume.
Yeah. So you just go in there and start shoving it in your face, and of course Bilbo doesn't even think anything of that. There's honey cakes and whipped cream and fresh berries and cheeses from all over the Shire. It's a full-on spread. It's like a hospital, or not a hospital, hotel thing. Just so many things to choose
breakfast.
from. But even, thank you. Continental breakfast. But it's actually good, anything of substance. Oh yeah, there's some sausages in one of the plates too. And
like my house on the 4th.
Exactly just like the Taylor States on the 4th. That's right.
Uncle Bilbo, you sure do set a fine table.
Gamble Stonefoot grabs all the sausages.
I'm gonna grab his arm.
Yeah.
And
I grab a fistful of them off his plate.
and grab one while that's happening.
Yep. So there's a little fight over some sausages over there, and you got one hobbit's just eating all the honey cakes and whipped cream, and Bilbo's just doesn't even think anything of it. He just kind of you hear him mumble something under his breath. Dwarves, they just.
When I've had my fill, I'll start helping clean up.
All right, and you notice the map over there on the table again.
Anytime I have a chance to just take a look at that map, I'm gonna try to memorize the path that he's got laid out on it.
Yeah,
or whatever's odd about it.
He notices you looking at the map, and he says, "Ah, yes, we may as well get to the business at hand." And he says, I do love maps." And he shows you a map. And he says, I have devised a way for you all to stay away from the most amount of trouble and still get there in the easiest way. But it is going to face some minor conveniences. And so I'm going to share. I think I can share this map with you guys. And so this is what you see. You can see that he's like scratched some red in the map. And you see Hobbiton there in the upper right quadrant. And then if you just go straight north from Hobbiton, you see Baggins, which is just a big hill. And then so he explains, he says, I feel like the best way to get to Mickle Delving will be to, rather than take the road directly down to the East Road, instead you'll cross over the river, and he doesn't say the river, he says the water, which is what the hobbits refer to as that river there. He says you'll cross over the water and then meet the East Road into the forest, and you'll probably be able to make Waymeet by the evening. And Waymeet is a town that you guys are familiar with. It's like kind of a crossroads town, and you can see it there on your map. And he says if you'll stay there, you'll have an easy next day trip to Mickle Delving.
Want to kind of look it over and make sure I think it's the most efficient as well. Just make sure I agree with him.
Uncle Bilbo, why don't we just cross the Bowater at Sandyman's?
He says it draws too much attention. It there's too much could go wrong. I feel like this is probably the best route. I've thought long and hard about this, and you can actually see like other marks on the map where he's like erased things and thought about other ways.
Okay, we'll do it your way. And this is simple enough that I was going to copy it down to my own map, but I don't.
Oh yeah, it's pretty simple.
I can remember this.
Somebody's,
Olo can remember this.
Somebody's got a little
addition there.
square on there. It's not remotely a square, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think once I share that with you guys, it's like yours. I think you can like, if I close it, I don't think it'll go away, but it might. I don't know.
Where can we find that at? Because
Maybe.
I closed it on accident.
Maybe images on the right there. Y'all have images on the right.
What's it called?
Handout.
I do have some things in here.
Handout.
Path of Michael Delving. Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, so
How do we
guys
draw
can-
these super handy 10-foot cones on here?
I don't know what none of that is. You can enter drawing mode. I don't know what that does, but I think it's probably for like during combat you can draw those cones that are certain sizes and it'll like hit everything in that cone. It's for certain kinds of spells and stuff, of which there's none in this world set.
I want to walk outside on the front porch and smoke my pipe and wait for everybody to get ready because I'm ready to hit the road.
All right. Smoking the pipe. Yeah, Bilbo actually joins you. He joins you and smokes his pipe too, and he starts rambling on about some of the different things that can be found in Mickle Delving. And how he's thought about being the mayor of Mickle Delving. So yeah, whenever you guys are ready. Roll your pop proficiency. You're able to blow a pretty impressive smoke ring. And then of course Bilbo tops it. But he's had a few more years of pipe smoking prowess under his belt.
Yeah, I'm anxious to go.
All right. Sounds good. And he's as you guys are like packing up, he notices and he hands you a bag, and it's just full of like stuff, food and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much all it is food. And he says, for the road.
Appreciate it.
All right. So you guys are ready to head
Does
off.
he have any coin for us in case we need it at the crossroads? Or
No, he says you should be fine. He says folks like you shouldn't have any trouble finding a place to stay.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are going to walk. You're going to try to take this path, and you generally, so like there's a little village up there, the Overhill, which is kind of connected to Baggins and everything, and so you'll go through Overhill, and it's still pretty early, so people are not really out and about, and you can hear the water up ahead that is moving, and because of the rain, you can hear that the water is moving pretty swiftly. And the place where, as Bilbo was talking about it, he thought that there was probably this shallow area that you could have crossed there with not much trouble. He said a hobbit should have no trouble crossing there. Seems pretty deep.
Is there another way around close? Is it like path changing?
I mean, you guys think that you could probably get across it. It's just not going to be what you were thinking it was.
How wide is the river here?
It's pretty wide. It's like a stone's throw.
we have the ability to build anything to go across them?
Let's see, Plops. Not Plops, Shaggy. Let's make an investigation check.
Thank you.
So just throw it out there.
Yep, just toss it out there, or you can just double click it. Oh, very investigative indeed. And so while everyone's kind of thinking about how to get across this river, you notice on the other side of the river, there's actually a pretty big log. And that's just kind of sitting there. That's not moving, but is floating. It's kind of caught on something, and so it's not like a drowned log or anything. It's just sitting there, and you feel like that it'd be big enough to bear the weight of at least the hobbits and the dwarves.
Is the water over my head?
Probably not. It's probably about waist deep, or maybe a little bit higher.
Okay. Here,
I can,
Ripplin, I've got a rope here. I'll hand him a 50-foot piece of rope.
All right.
All right, I'll jump out in there and start walking over to tie it around this log and drag it so they can walk across.
All right. So you need to make make an athletics check. All right. So you can feel it's definitely pulling on you. The river's definitely pulling on you, but you're not having much trouble walking through there. But it comes up to a little bit right underneath your chest, and so you know that the hobbits and the dwarves the hobbit and the dwarves have no real business trying to walk across. And so yeah, you can go over and tie that log up and drag it back across pretty easily.
Yeah, while I'm doing it, I'm going to ask Shaggy if he wants me to come carry him across.
Yeah. He does.
I'll just shrug. Joke went over his head.
All right.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, it's probably going to be one at a time. You know, it's probably one at a time. But you guys feel like you can probably do that though. If you climb on the if no one has any trouble climbing on a log and getting dragged across, then you feel like that's probably doable.
Rifflin, I've got my flute and my cartographer's tools, all of that in this pouch. Would you hold this over your head? I tell you what, I'll give you a pinch of old Toby if you'll carry my bag across safely.
Oh, Toby.
I'm gonna remind him I don't smoke, and snatch the bag and hold it over my head and walk.
All right.
You don't smoke.
No, that stuff will kill you.
You don't know what you're missing, sir. It's outright
I've-
inspiring.
We've been through this many, many times. He's always trying to get me to.
Have you tried the Southern Star?
No.
One day.
I've been
One
on
day.
Longbottom. So yeah, you don't have a whole lot of trouble doing that. You're able to. So who's going first? Olo's going first.
Oh yeah, if he's gonna carry my bag, I'll
Alright.
I'll hop on the log.
So not a whole lot of trouble getting Olo across.
Confounded thing.
He jumps out in front of.
Gammel's a little late to the show. He definitely steps in front of Shaggy. So
Falls in the water.
and yeah, he's eager. And so all right,
Well,
so so yeah, I think y'all can get across without any issues. Looks like Hooks is typing something. I guess his mic is off, or he's unable to be on the mic right now, which is the thing.
Can y'all hear me crunching these peanuts?
Not too bad.
Can't.
No, I can't. So yeah, y'all are able to get across. No real problems other than Rifflin's pretty soaked, but it's because you could touch. It's not too bad, and you're able to make it across the river.
Do we want to start a fire here and draw off, or just let the sun dry you off there?
Yeah, let's use some of that. What'd you call it? Star
Oh no.
burst to light it with.
That's not the
It's
not the proper use of the pipeweed.
Okay. A pipeweed fire to get warm. God, the amount of fumes would be so bad. Just a nicotine cloud over Hobbiton.
Right. Like, am I uncomfortably wet, or am I kind of used to this?
Oh, you're not. Yeah, it's not a big deal for you because of you're used to ranging.
Yeah, ranger. I'm gonna tell
All right, I'm
Riffin to suck it up because he's a ranger.
I'm gonna take off head to south.
Yep, and the path is pretty easy. Hobbit or the Shire's a pretty safe place. There's not a lot going on. It's not manicured or anything like that, but it is definitely not too bad. You know, you could probably get into something if you wanted to, or you could meet the East Road there and just make your way toward Waymeet.
I'm gonna do my best with I'm skilled at this. I'm gonna do my best to stay on the path that Bilbo outlined. Stay west of Hobbiton and just cut through the woods there, just to keep out of sight.
Yeah, I'll just kind of follow behind everybody and watch.
So y'all spend the best part of the morning kind of making your way to the East Road, and no one really eyes you too suspiciously because most people are kind of about their business in those back areas. And then when you get on the road, people are talking, but there are some suspicious eyes, particularly toward the ranger. It's not uncommon to see a ranger, but it is uncommon to see one walking in the middle of this area on this road. Rangers are typically more on the outskirts, but you do see a couple of glances, and so you start to think that it could be a little more of an issue when you get to Waymeet, where there's going to be a lot more people, and you guys expect to get to Waymeet around supper time, unless you want to stop or you just want to keep going.
I mean, I was hoping to stay at an inn.
Yeah, there's inns.
Did we discuss whether the Rifflin needs to stay outside while we all go into Waymeet?
You could have that discussion.
Yeah, I'm not the slightest bit concerned.
I mean, the Shire are kind folk.
It's
I'm
saying.
sure if I vouched for you, there'd be no trouble. Now, we may not be able to find a man-sized bed.
I appreciate that. But I've got kind of the look on my face that I don't need anybody's help.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we have trouble, then we're just you're just handling your own business. But
So to answer your question, Gamble, your suspicions are pretty similar to what I was saying. That it may be a little odd for a ranger to be at an inn in Waymeet, but it's not completely uncommon, since it's fairly well known that the rangers guard over the Shire.
Yeah, it's not like we're not afraid of being attacked or anything, right?
No, you're not.
Yeah,
afraid.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not worried about.
Oh, okay.
The fear is not violence. The fear is gossip.
Right, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I could care less.
Yeah, no, you're not. There's no. The only thing that's going to be taking place at the inns and Waymeet are drinking and eating, and whispering
and staring.
Staring and whispering.
And that's fine.
And you guys are concerned that maybe the whispers may be a little bit louder.
That's true.
Yeah, and Gamble says you don't want the gossip to run ahead of you. And no one has passed you. Everyone seems to be going the opposite direction. This is called the East Road, and so you guys are going west.
So do we risk the gospel, or we make Rifflin meet us on the other side tomorrow morning?
I mean, you guys
You know what I'm
saying? Rifflin seemed to he seemed to enjoy the prospect of being made to do something. So
yeah, he did. It's like real life. I just look down at him, shake my head. Let's keep moving. Pat him a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna forge on
cool.
ahead, traveling east on the east, or traveling west.
All right,
Me
so
too.
as you get toward Waymeet, the daylight is getting a little longer. The shadows are lengthening, so to speak, and but it's not completely dark once you get there. And there's a pretty big inn in Waymeet, and you guys are familiar with it. It's called the Walking Party Inn. And when you get to the Walking Party Inn, you're thinking you're going to stay there and everything's going to be fine, but actually people are sitting outside. Like, they're sitting outside because everything is full on the inside. And so everything is completely occupied. Everyone's polite. They seem to be polite, though there are a few, eyes and whispers, no more than what you saw on the road. So nothing that's terribly concerning.
I'm thirsty. Do we stay here or try
Can
somewhere
we get
else?
food or something? Yes.
Yeah,
Is there,
you could do that.
Any way we could get the attention of a serving lady here?
Oh yeah, you could go inside. It's not so crowded that you can't go in, but people are just sitting outside. They've like set up makeshift tables and chairs outside for people to eat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's like
I want to start inquiring around. Then I'd like to try to see if I can figure out if this is normal. It seems abnormal. What's the occasion? Why are there so many people around?
All right, so roll. Roll a riddle check. Let's go ahead and do that one. That one sounds fun. And so, as you're asking around why there's so many people, you notice that people start to eye you a little differently as you are as you're talking to them. They're starting to they're polite. They even, some of them even you recognize. You may not know them by name, but you recognize them. And it's but people are they're putting you together with this crowd of others, that of outsiders, and they're starting to, the whispers are increasing a little bit. But and then one of them says something along the lines of, "Well, it's just been a beautiful day after the storm, and people are coming to gather. There's nothing too suspicious." And when he says suspicious, he kind of looks you up and down, and then looks over at Rifflin, and just goes on about himself, drinks another drink.
So when I'm able to have a drink, I'm going to inquire around and see if I can find anybody that's interested in a game of quoits.
All right. So yeah, everybody can get a drink, and yeah, if you could probably find a game of quoits pretty easily.
I brought my own set,
I don't
so
know how many
I'll just set
players
them up.
quoits is. How many? It's like a horseshoes kind of game, is that right?
Yeah, it's like a ring toss kind of
So
situation.
Yeah, you can find 3 other people that'll play quoits with you.
All right. I'm hoping that it's just hobbits. I'm trying to diffuse the.
Oh yeah, it's all hobbits there. Actually, there's 3 people there that aren't hobbits.
Distance yourself from the party.
And it's just
Like you're abandoning your friends.
I'm assuming this is somewhere I've never been.
No, you're familiar with Waymeet. You may not have never been to this particular inn, but you're familiar with this town, and you're not at all put off by any of this. Shire folk are curious and
just like that.
Meddlesome folk, yeah. So yeah, you are going to town over there at the Quartz Arena, and there's some other good quoiters around too, but they're not nearly as good as you are. They are. Actually, let's see how good they are. Let me roll a quoits check of my own. No, they're not.
They're not bad.
As good.
They're not bad.
No. And they start asking you what your technique is and everything.
Oh, I'd be happy to share.
Yeah.
How are the tables here? Are they the tables and chairs? Are they made for somebody like my size to sit in?
No, there's no. But the innkeeper does come up to you and he says, we can make accommodations, and he starts trying to cobble together some way to make a table a little taller by putting blocks underneath the table. He's trying to be accommodating to you, but he's also kind of looking at you out of the side of his face, almost a little afraid while he's doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be overly nice and say, "Hey, don't worry about it, man," and I'll just kind of go Indian style on the floor.
So yeah,
roll. I appreciate it.
What would that be? That would be persuade. Yeah, roll a persuasion check. Yeah, he hears what you're saying, but he doesn't. He doesn't seem to be convinced, really.
Okay, I'll just smile and nod in appreciation.
He doesn't think you're about to hit him. He just doesn't know what you're about to do. So he's not afraid of you. He's curious. He's just curious. Old Proudfoot has had so many. He's had his 3rd or 4th pint, and so he's over there singing.
He's singing songs
with a quoit in hand, just waving it around. Him and his quartro over there. That's what it is.
I'm gonna be
it's a 4-player game, and it's called a quartro.
Nice.
So are the 3 of us the only ones that aren't hobbits here?
Yeah.
Are there other outsiders?
No other outsiders, but that this inn, there's dwarves are actually pretty common around here because this is the road that the dwarves take to go back to other areas, like they in the Blue Mountains. You know about Blue Mountain dwarves, even though y'all aren't Blue Mountain dwarves. And so this is not a completely unfamiliar place to you, as far as just you know of it, but you've never been to this particular inn.
Is there a way for us to search for anybody from the delving to ask them a question?
Yeah, you could. Let's see. That would be. You could roll. You could roll a perception check. Roll a perception check for me. Oh, the flute's getting played. Roll me a flute check. Charisma flute. Nice. So you actually draw a little bit of a crowd, and the guy that you spoke to earlier, that you kind of maybe put off a little bit, like he's like you feel like you've won him over at this point, and actually he looks over his shoulder at Rifflin, and he kind of smiles and nods at the same time. So you feel like you maybe have won him over, and as this flute quartro is going on in the background, Shaggy's looking around to see if he thinks he can maybe spot someone, and you happen to notice that someone is looking at you all too, like watching you look around. And he even starts walking over to you.
I'll make sure and be up there where he is, but non-threatening.
All right, yeah.
Smiling. I'm like stupid, non-threatening looking, trying to be as nice looking as I can be.
Nice. Yeah. So there's just wildness going on in the background with flutes and things, but this man that's walking up, this hobbit that's walking up to you, doesn't seem that concerned, but he does. He kind of looks like a plain kind of hobbit, and he says to you all, he says, where you headed?
Am I around? Can I step in here?
You can see that they are talking to a hobbit.
Okay.
We're just traveling. I needed a break from
Okay.
protecting the Shire.
You headed east or west?
We're staying here this evening.
Oh. And he looks around like you get the idea that he's like looking around the inn, and he says, I don't believe you'll be staying at this inn this evening. There'll be no rooms in the walking party inn. However, I do know of a barn that would sleep 4 pretty comfortably. He says, I just
Probably sounds like a great idea to me because I can't fit in these beds.
No, you can't. But he says, but I'm going to ask a small favor of you.
What would that be?
He said, in the barn, he says, I have my favorite animal. It's an old plow mule named Gertrude. And every night when Gertrude is attempting to rest from the day's labors, I hear this owl out there hooting away. And then I hear Gertrude making noises. And so I feel like this owl is just menacing my poor old mule. And if I could just get someone to go and deal with this owl, I think that would be so helpful and so kind. And if you could do that, you could stay in my barn, and I would even take care of your meals and even your friends' beverages for the evening.
Sounds great.
Well, Gamble Stonefoot is over there braiding his beard while all this is going on. He's quietly braiding his beard.
He is. I'll consult the guys and see how they feel about it, or if they want to talk to the guy.
I don't know anything about how to deal with owls.
Does anybody know?
It's easy. You just light some of that starburst under the nest, and it'll keep them away. They'll
'Cause
fall right
there-
out into your
there
hand.
is a skill, that's and just as an aside, I'm looking at all of your character sheets,
Yeah.
and of course, no one has it. So this will be
No.
fun. Okay, that's good. Well, it just makes you be creative. I mean, yeah, hunting is a skill too. Yeah, it is. It is a skill. So yeah, you guys can, if you want to leave the walking party in and head with the Hobbit. And he says, "Oh, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you my name. My name is Bilbo Bunce. I'm a farmer here."
Well, good to meet you, Farmer Bunce.
Nice
What
to
kind
meet
of
you,
crops are you
Baldo.
growing this year?
He said all the things that it takes to feed my family and several others. So nothing particular, just grains and vegetables and a couple of fruit trees.
How do you spell Baldo Bunce?
I'll put it in the. Bilbo Bunce. And he says, "Yeah, my inn is, or he says, my home is just to the south here. There's a road that goes out from the front of Waymeet, and there's some residential areas out there. And he says, just a little bit here. So yeah, if y'all are ready, y'all can sing down the path."
I'm gonna ask him. So by terrorizing the cow, do you mean just making a lot of noise, or
Yeah, he says,
is it coming into the barn?
that's what seems to be happening. There's just a lot of noises. The animals seem to be just making noises. And the only thing I can guess is my poor old Gertrude is being terrorized by this mean old owl.
And you know it's an owl?
Oh yes, I've seen him. He's terrible. I'm afraid of him myself, and you guys look much more sturdy than I. I'm afraid that I would not come back all too well if I tried to tangle with that owl.
All right.
I mean, an owl, like a big owl would be like, you could,
Yeah, probably scary to them.
it's like
Yeah,
not a lot shorter than they are.
that's right.
So we're about to leave the bar.
Yeah, I think so. If everybody's in agreement.
I'd like to get another drink or two for the road.
No, I'll get you a to-go cup. Get you a to-go pint. Yeah. It wouldn't be too difficult to just walk out of the bar with a pint.
Probably not.
Oh yeah. It's just the Shire way. Well, all right.
Nice.
So y'all
Yeah,
can,
I'm ready.
So we'll
Everybody's
follow.
ready.
Get this out.
All right. So y'all make your way to the Bunce farm, and it's a nice little farm there, and he's got a small home situated there, and you can tell in his home there's not enough room for you all, but his barn is quite large enough to hold a party of your size, and he takes you into the barn, and or he takes you to the barn, not in the barn. He's a little afraid of the barn at night, actually. And actually, as he's walking up, you hear this loud hoot, and then the mule. You can hear there's a large animal in there, and the mule starts stirring, like you can hear the shuffling of hay.
And we can tell where the hoot came from.
Oh yeah, it's coming from inside the barn.
Oh.
Well, to be honest, lads, the traveling and the merrymaking are my forte, but this is kind of out of my line. I'm gonna leave this to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the barn.
Yeah, I'll back him up. I'm not too worried about an owl.
I'm just messing with stuff.
What was that?
That's just Hulick's plan.
That was a
Mini game,
roll
Hulix.
on the
Oh,
Encounters of the East Road.
Floats
Oh,
off
yeah.
on balloons.
The encounter.
He's 4 pages into a completely different book right now while we're playing this.
He's over there, like, over there getting getting his like attributes and skill points on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, while we're fighting like 6 elite parties.
We're literally heading in here for our first encounter with something
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, I died 3 times
I've been
to the boss,
asking
and
to
then he
practice
asked me
throwing
a
my
question
axe.
about an aspect. Yeah. All right, so yeah, you guys can let's see, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, you guys can go in the barn. So Olo is going to stay outside the barn, and the rest of you are going to head into the barn, and it's dark in there. But go ahead.
Is it understood? Just like for where we are we trying to trap this, or is it okay to just kill it?
Okay, so yeah, as far as the if it wouldn't be seen as a good thing to kill the animal. Killing of animals is not.
Yeah, that's what I was
There's
thinking.
livestock, and they have livestock, but they don't just mindlessly kill an animal like an owl. An owl is actually seen as a beneficial animal. About the only animals that hobbits hate are wolves.
Yeah.
Because of
Got
they have a history with wolves.
Okay. Do we need to improve our lighting situation here? Is that something we can do?
You could. Yeah, I think some of you guys have torches and lanterns and stuff. There's nothing inside the barn. Yeah, you get the idea that Farmer Bunce wants nothing to do with his barn at night, and so
All I have is the tinderbox.
and
Let's see what we got.
you think better of the tinderbox in a barn full of straw.
In a barn full of straw and stuff.
I
That's a
have
bad
a-
idea. Yeah.
I have a hooded lantern.
There you go. The wealth of the Erebor dwarves shines through with his hooded lantern, as opposed to a stick with some cloth wrapped around it. Yeah.
Those are the facts.
So yeah, you can light your hooded lantern if you'd like.
Cunningly
All right.
contrived dwarven devices.
So yeah, you light your hooded lantern, and it definitely lights up the barn quite a bit. The mule is there, just kind of swishing his tail, and he's standing up, and he is pointed toward the owl, and the owl is in the upper right-hand corner of the barn, and it's a pretty big owl. It is it's sizable. You can see why Farmer Bunce has been afraid of the owl, and it is looking at you, and it starts making some noises, and then the right on cue, the mule also makes some noises. And Olo, you're standing out there with Farmer Bunce, and he you can tell this recent noise has frightened him. After everyone walked in and you guys saw the light come on and you heard the noise, and there's some.
Are there any
What skills do we need here? Somebody got
blankets or anything that around in this barn?
There's probably something like that in the mule's stall. And as far as Plop, as far as that's concerned, like you can kind of look at your skill sheet, and you can another way to think about this is like, what would your character do? And so you come up with a thing to do, and then I just tell you what skill to roll for that thing. And so that would be you can, like Danny's asking about blankets that are laying around or something like that. So if he's got an idea, then I would say, okay, then roll this skill for that idea. Yeah. So yeah, you guys can come up with an idea. The owl seems pretty well entrenched. He doesn't seem like he's like gonna strike out at you guys or anything. He doesn't seem mad at you. He's just hanging out. And
Yeah, it's just a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Is there a window or something that can be opened up near the top? of the barn?
Mm.
Like he
Yes.
may be trapped in there type thing?
Yeah, there are windows up near the top of the barn that are shut. And you think, wow, those windows are pretty far up there for a dwarf.
He's on his way, dude.
But you can decide whether or not you think that's going to stop you. I'm just telling you that they're, it's as big as you just came from the inn. And the inn is kind of this 2-story building, and the top part of the barn, most of the barn is this big 1-story space, but the loft area of the barn that you're looking up into has a second story, and there's just a small area up there for someone to walk, like so that they could tend to the different things that are up there and store a few things. But you could get up there and open those windows.
Is the owl getting in a different way? Do we think he's just stuck, or do we think he's showing up every night?
It doesn't look like he's stuck. It doesn't look like he's in any sort of stress or distress at all.
I don't know how much it'd help just to get him out of the barn if he's hanging around there bothering the cows all the time.
And you do get the idea that he comes at night, like from what Farmer Bunce has told you, that he comes in at night and bothers the mule. He's not there all the time.
So we'll have to trap him or something.
Does he
relocate him?
So I'm thinking, I don't know, a scarecrow maybe? Like if I run at him and scare him out, is that enough to let us know that we could just build a scarecrow to keep him away from the barn?
Yeah, you could definitely try to scare the bird. So yeah, Gamble, you're looking around to see how he gets in the barn each night, and there are windows. There's windows. It's a fairly well ventilated area. The windows up the top are closed, but the windows on the bottom section for each stall are open.
Is there a way we can communicate with him? Just to, can somebody actually communicate with the owl to see what his deal is?
You could try to communicate with the owl. I mean that would be like an animal handling kind of skill.
Curious I guess we could talk to our party. Does anybody here have experience with animal handling in their past?
I mean, I've had experience with a lot of animals.
Okay.
I speak fluent owl.
That's a wild claim.
Why didn't you say something?
All right, I feel like you should. Could you please ask this owl what the deal is?
Yeah, could you just ask him to leave?
Can we help him out, or does he need something? Or
oh, your character's saying that. Your character's saying that you speak fluent owl. Okay. That's different. I thought you were telling us your character. Okay, that's different. If Gamble Stonefoot is telling you guys that he speaks owl, okay.
Yeah.
Gamma, will you mind talking to this owl for us?
Yeah, you can try. What are you gonna tell the owl? Oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
Just that nat 20. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so you guys are trying to figure things out, and the dwarf just saunters over to the owl and begins explaining to him that you guys have looked around and there aren't any more mice in the barn, and that Farmer Muntz thinks that the owl he's bothering the mule, and if he would just fly away, then that would be helpful to everyone involved. And the owl nods and then looks over at Gertrude, and Gertrude just kind of almost seems as if the mule understands as well. And then the owl flies away. And you
I
guys
just
are
kind of stand there astonished.
Just
Yeah.
amazed that the dwarf made that wild claim and then backed it up.
I'm gonna slap Gamble on the back, congratulate him for his help.
So yeah, Olo and Farmer Bunce, you guys see the owl fly out the side window there. And Farmer Bunce is just elated. Just absolutely elated.
Well, looks like we earned a place to sleep there.
He does. He actually is just so thrilled that he promises you he says a breakfast fit for Bag End is what he says.
I was waiting on Olo to say something. Is Olo out here okay?
Olo's passed out, I
Or
guess.
is he passed out?
I think he's already hit the hay.
I'm when he mentions the breakfast for fit for Bag In, I want to like jump in and try to be the first to speak.
All right. So yeah, you're definitely able to speak.
That sounds like a legendary meal. We'll be so thankful.
Yeah.
And I'd like to. I don't know how to do this, but like have a posture that looks like I'm in charge.
All right.
You know, step to the front, be present, engaging. That'll
Yeah. So yeah, roll a persuasion check. That's good. We'll see how.
I'm not trying to say anything about the meal at Bag In. I'm trying to be,
You're trying to,
the
convince him
spokesperson.
The
for
leader of the
group.
party,
Oh,
and you 100% are.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, yes, sir, right away," and he seems to understand where the real power in the group is.
Yeah, and then I want to like change the subject. Farmer, what sort of leaf do you guys grow around here?
He says, "Oh, we don't grow any of that." He says, "You'll need to talk to the merchants that actually will be coming through soon. They're headed for Longbottom for the harvest."
Have you tried the long bottom leaf?
And he points to like a cask over there next to his barn, and there's just a cask of it. Yeah, it says Longbottom.
What about the South Lynch? Where it comes from a little farther south than the long bottom. Have you tried the South Lynch leaf?
He said, "I've had my share of it, but he said I haven't had it in a while."
I want to open my pouch and offer him a pinch.
Oh, he accepts it. He says, he puts it he pulls out his pouch and puts it in there. He says, "I'll save this for tomorrow."
A little late for you, sir?
A little late for the old pipe this evening.
I understand.
I'm in the barn, like prepping a place to
Gamble's
relax.
over there sharpening his tools and his axes. Oh, he takes out his tools to sharpen his axe. I got you.
Okay.
Right.
Well, sir, we're gonna hit the hay if you'll pardon the expression.
He says,
And I'm gonna plump up
"Absolutely.
a big pile of hay.
That's why it's there." And he walks in and he like has this kind of skipping his step almost. He just seems so thrilled that this party has come upon him, and he's so and he even looks out to the skies where the direction the owl flew. It's like he's almost just can't believe that his fortunes have turned so greatly. So you guys are ready to go to sleep?
When he
Yep.
is he gonna? He's not sleeping out here, right? He's going in the house.
He's going in the house.
Okay. After he's clearly out of earshot, he's talking about breakfast at Bag In. Do you reckon he knows where we started our day?
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was an expression among you folks.
I mean, Bag In does have legendary hospitality, but I got the impression from Uncle Bilbo that he didn't want our general purpose to be known here.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know that guy. Why don't you go
Well,
see what you can find out in his house while he's asleep? And
I
I'll
just
stay
think
out
that
here.
we should, any mention of Hobbiton or Baggin or Uncle Bilbo, we should just play it cool and stay away from that subject.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get out all my stuff. I've got a bedroll and a
All right.
robe and whatnot. I'll try to make myself comfortable and go to sleep.
Got all the amenities. Yeah, so you guys sleep through the night. It's pretty easy sleep because y'all are wore out from the day of owl rustling, and you wake up the next morning, and the sun is just barely up, and you hear the rooster crow, and you hear the door of the barn open, and there's Farmer Bunce. He says, "There's plenty inside. Come on in when you're ready."
Right. Again, I'd like to
sorry.
try to put on a show at breakfast
Heading in.
as much as possible.
He seems pretty convinced of y'all. You get the impression that at this point you all can do no wrong. He just still sees you as he looks at, he's really impressed with the hobbit that is leading around two dwarves and a man, particularly a ranger, because the rangers kind of have this mythical way about them, and he's just so impressed. And then how this owl, they went in and the owl came out and there was no fuss, and he's just is almost floating around his kitchen. He's just so pumped.
I'm gonna ask him why he approached us.
He said you looked like the type of people who could take care of my problem. And I wasn't wrong.
We're not.
So are we east or west of Waymeet right now?
A little bit south of Waymeet, actually.
Okay.
So you'd have to go up back to that inn and then go toward the west to get back on the road to Mickle Delving, which you feel like you could breach by dark.
Well, Farmer Bunce, we really need to be on our way. We really appreciate your hospitality, sir. Breakfast was delicious.
It was good. Appreciate it.
He bids you farewell, and he says, if you're ever in the area again, please stop by.
The barn was mighty comfortable. We may make use of it again in the future.
All right.
And then I'd like to try to cut out just west. Like, I don't want to go back into town.
Just through those woods there.
Yeah, and hit the road again. But I feel like we're just drawing attention to ourselves to go to the Waymeet. Everybody,
Yeah.
I'll
I'm with you on that.
walk away from the farm in a little bit, but I don't want to just blindly lead everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
That works. And again, There's no fear of like cutting cross country here in this part of the Shire because it's fairly tame. You're basically cutting through fields and fence roads, and it's not like a bunch of wooded area. So you can follow the fence roads to the main road actually pretty easily.
Okay. So we're just hoping to get to Mickledome before dark, right?
Yeah, and it's a pretty straight shot.
Be right back.
All right. It's a pretty straight shot.
So at some point during the walk, I'd like to question Gamble about his knowledge of owl language. Where'd you learn that sort of thing?
That was good.
I learned it from the Durns folk through many years of study. Is a
So you're a
required class.
You're a lore master then?
One might say that.
But
Could you repeat one of those words you said in owl for us while we're heading this way?
You didn't quite get what you wanted there.
No, I didn't.
So yeah.
It didn't seem very convincing.
No. Y'all don't seem.
He
too
said a lot
convinced.
more last night.
He
Yeah.
did. That owl was super impressed by him too, though. There's a lot of weird sort of magic going on.
That's right.
That's that nat 20 on the owl language roll. That's just.
Yeah. That's why you play the game, right?
That's right.
Why this even exists.
That's right. Hooks, that almost makes up for the front flip into the fire. It doesn't erase the front flip at all. Nothing shall. But
Right.
it almost makes up for it.
What about the stealing of the money out of the cash
Yeah,
register?
that's going to take a lot to cover that. It's going to take a lot of owls to cover that one. Just getting thrown out into the street with nothing on. Beat over the head.
I still feel like those two things happened consecutively, but maybe not.
They may have happened in the same evening.
I thought they did.
I mean, because it was a thief, and he
Yeah.
flipped into the fire. Just a fire full of bandits. I don't know what he was thinking he was going to do, but he rolled a sneak roll, and it was a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his theft roll to get money out of the cash register was also a 1. All right. So you guys, you can pretty much make an easy trip to Mickle Delving, and so a couple things as you're going through. You get a pretty good look at Mickle Delving. So you're on this area of the Shire that's known as the you're gonna probably arrive pretty late anyway, because it's just a long trip. But you can slow up if you think it's it's too light or too light. And Mickle Delving is quite a bit larger than Hobbiton, and there's a lot of the homes are like more tightly packed, and they're nicer looking than what you think of as a Hobbit dwelling. They're more like a house as opposed to like a Hobbit hole. There's more houses than there are Hobbit holes, I guess. And then there's this area in the center of town that you're all familiar with, and the center of town is called the Town Hole, and the Town Hole is where the mayor does his business and the important people of the town do their business. And the East Road runs pretty much right up to the Town Hole. And it's a little bit south of the Town Hole where the Matham House is. And the Matham House is on a little hill, actually, that kind of overlooks the rest of the town. And as you're coming on Mickle Delving, you can kind of see some familiar things to you, but you're not. I mean, if you wanted to do more of an official scouting kind of thing, you could.
So my background just states that I'm from a wealthy family that lives in a hobbit hole in Mickle Delving.
Okay, so you're very familiar with what you're looking at. Yep. Then.
And exactly I feel like we should just like stay the night at my house.
You could do that. Yeah, you could do that. And as far as Gamble asked the question if you know anything about the museum. It's just the Matham House is like a house of Hobbit treasures, and it's a house that every Hobbit wants to go and look at and hear stories of the past and hear about things that happened and stories of old. And you know that Bilbo has even had some things in the Mayhem house before.
So do we want to spend a whole day sitting here, or can we just hit this house at the first night we're here
Yeah, I mean, you
before anybody knows we're in town?
Yeah, you can do whatever you can do whatever you like, but you can. But it's starting to get dark, and Olo knows that there's there's a little path that leads up to the Mayhem house, and it's the Mayhem house itself is usually not locked because again, it's the general spirit of the Shire is why would a Hobbit want to go and instill these things that are for everybody, and so there's no risk of theft as far as theft to go and sell it or destroy it or anything like that, and a lot of the homes have windows in them at night, and so you can kind of see it, or not windows, candles in their windows, and so you can start to see some of that happening as it gets darker.
Is there much street traffic or nightlife or anything or anything like that?
Yeah, you don't notice a whole lot, but you do notice some very specific traffic, and that is the few people that you see are uniformed, and they're carrying perfectly made little clubs, and these to be the bounders.
Do they kind of side eye me as well?
Y'all are actually still up the road quite a bit. So
Okay.
Yeah, y'all are
Okay.
y'all are still up the road quite a bit. They would definitely side eye you if you were to walk into town at night. You get the idea.
A good distraction if somebody's robbing another spot.
It might be a good distraction.
You know,
Probably would serve as a distraction.
I just go out and start doing cartwheels in the street, and they
Mhm.
walk in, take the map, and leave.
That would definitely cause a distraction. But yeah,
So one way to handle this would be to just go in broad daylight as visitors.
You could do that.
Do you think I'd bring too much attention though? Should I stay out and do other stuff to kind of keep some focus on me?
Yeah, I mean it'd be odd for two dwarves and a ranger to walk into the Mayhem house. Nothing that you can, as far as obscure information, nothing that like as far as nothing that you're too familiar with. Actually, let's see what, because you all have someone from Mickle Delving. Let's see what would be a good role for this, for like information about a building.
Oh, I have a specific double skill for that.
Is that old lore? Would that be old lore?
That would be old lore.
Yep.
Roll me an old
And
lore.
I particularly have double proficiency when it has to do with the goings on of the Shire.
Go ahead and roll me an old lore check. That nat one who looks.
He only rolls ones and 20s.
Everything is right in the world again, man.
He has a D2, and it has a 1 on one side and a 20 on the other. That's his die. It's a coin. That's the only thing he rolls. Hooks, really?
Hulix knows nothing about where we're at right now.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't know.
He thinks
anything.
he's still in the barn.
Yeah, so he's like, Olo's getting ready to tell you something about the Mayhem house that he knows, and then Gamel's looking around for like some tools, like some mining tools.
It's just speaking owl.
Go underground. Yeah, he's hooting to himself.
Hooting.
Over there.
So I know a fact about the Mayhem house.
You do. You're getting ready to explain to them that you guys have talked about, and it's familiar to everybody that the Mayhem house is open at night, but you're also familiar with the fact that there is a skylight opening in the roof of the Matham house, and that if for some reason the door was locked, that you all would still be able to get into the Matham house.
The most interesting item in the Matham house to me is definitely the club of old Bull took. He was a huge hobbit, big enough to ride a full pony, and he used that hobbit to knock a goblin chief's. He used that club to knock a goblin chief's head off in a battle long ago, and the Shire was saved, and the game of golf was invented all at once.
Well, okay.
You tell them all about Bull Roar's club too, and you tell them about the skylight, and Gamel's ready to go mining now. that one, man.
Dude. Yeah, that's awesome.
Helix is D2. That's what he rolls.
I'll ask Olo if he thinks it's better for me to stay out of city limits until it gets dark, or can he hide me in his home? Or
So
I'm just worried about bringing too much attention to us.
in a sense, you and the Bounders kind of have the same mission. The Bounders are trying to protect the borders of the Shire, the same as you Rangers do. It would be beneficial to the Shire if you would gather up a few Bounders and give them a debriefing of what's going on our northern borders.
Oh,
That
I
is an
like it.
excellent idea.
Yeah. The Bounders would be familiar with a ranger. They are in regular communication because they are on the same team as far as the Shire is concerned.
All right. But is it who was it? I thought Ola was a bounder as well.
He is, but but what he's saying is that the Rangers protect the Shire too, and so it would be I think that's what I heard anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I can maybe talk to them while you guys are 007 and
Well, I was just thinking maybe both
Or
of them could
Mission
old pal
Impossible type
around with
thing.
their buddies, the bounders.
Yeah.
I mean, Gamble went and checked out the old.
I love to visit the Maiden House as well, but my allegiance definitely lies with Uncle Bilbo, and I'm super curious about this map.
All right. So what's y'all's plan? It's starting to get dark for sure.
We're going to do this at night or during the day? That's, I think, is the big question here.
I think night would be the preferred method.
Well, if it's night, then my proposal would be just to. Does anybody have any particular skill at the?
I just don't see why you would want more people in there browsing things while you're trying to steal them. But
maybe we should just head to my house then, and Gamble can work his magic. I'm an entertainer, not a burglar.
Y'all are some pretty sneaky people.
And a traveler.
I'm pretty slick, but
yeah, Gamble's got a lot of stuff.
Gamble is a thief, so I guess however he feels
I
we
am
should
not a
handle this.
thief. I am a treasure hunter.
He is a treasure hunter, a stealthy treasure hunter.
Yeah, I'll rely on his expertise, man.
Oh,
if he thinks
yeah,
it
he
needs to be
takes the
during the
final call
day.
here. Yeah.
The only thing is, if Olo doesn't go, I'm not sure what I'm going after, other than it's a map. Olo knows his way around the Maven house.
Olo can go with you.
We do not.
We go during the day, then it'll be distraction type situation rather than a stealth situation, I would think.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a distraction and a stealth.
No.
Somebody playing the flute and making a concert, and
So during the day? Okay.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I guess we need
Let's
to find
have-
a place
let's-
to stay.
Let's you guys are welcome to stay with me, and I'll lead the party to my hobbit hole.
Thanks, J. Tom, for the sub. J. Tom's in here watching us this evening.
Okay.
All right, so
Ellen
y'all are
says
headed
she
to the
wouldn't.
Hobbit hole, I guess. Okay, so are y'all going to go as a group?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to try something.
Yeah, I'll go with 'em.
actually. I'm going to try something here. I think I can roll. I'm just going to see if this works. I'm just interested. I think I can roll stealth checks for everybody. Let's see if this works. Actually, I can put a DC in there too. Wow. That is pretty neat. I wonder if it shows you all the DC though. Oh, I can
Didn't show us
show
that.
results. Okay, I can. I see, but I can straight up do it. Don't show result. Hide results. Okay, let's see if this. I'm gonna see if this works. Oh man, that is legit. That is really cool. So I just rolled a stealth check for the whole party, and you guys were able to stealth on into Olo's house. I guess is that where you're headed?
Mm-hmm.
All right, able to get on in. No bounders saw you, and y'all are going to stay the evening at Olo's house, I guess. All right, that works for me.
I want to turn in right away because I've got to be up early in the morning.
Yeah, I'll find any little space I can.
All right, so you all can just wait the night, and it's the morning, and you believe that no one knows that y'all are in Mickle Delving.
So as soon as the sun comes up, I'm going to try to make it a third amazing breakfast in a row, if possible.
I think you can do that. You have some time. You don't need to roll any skills or anything. You're a
Yeah.
hobbit.
We're gonna eat big this morning then.
Just eating all kinds of breakfast. So there's just all sorts of breakfast before y'all. You feel like you're just gained 14 pounds in the last 2 days. But no one seems upset about that. Gamel again takes all the sausage for himself.
Okay. So, what's the plan here?
I'll go out and probably pretty easily draw the attention of the bounders and just start telling them about the adventures I've had and protection I provided in the north.
Do we need to check the boundary situation, see if it's the same during the day as it is at night?
I mean, you would kind of know that. Well, Olo would know that the only difference between the day and the night in Mickle Delving is other people. There's just people everywhere. It's a pretty big town. It's a pretty normal. It's just everyday goings on. People are doing commerce, and they're just kids are running around, and and it's Mickle Delving, so you've got some of the hoity-toities around too. The government figures and whatnot, and then the bounders are still there. They're just not as prevalent because they're not the only people out.
Okay.
Holix is going to pilfer the target.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going in. I think I'll just be like kind of a pseudo lookout kind of guy, and if the bounders show up, I'll walk out and start a conversation with them, and if not, I'll just keep my eye on what's going on.
So here's my fear now. If any of you non-Hobbit folk are even seen in town, once it is, even if we get the map and get away, as soon as it is discovered that the map is missing, the bounders are going to pin that theft on you.
Oh, really?
I would think. I mean, we
Surely
just don't
not on
have
the
a
range
lot
of the north, right?
we
That'd
just
be a
don't have a lot of
mistake.
big. We don't have a lot of big folk around here. It would just be too great of a coincidence that some outlanders were in town on the day that the map disappeared.
Okay.
So should we just stay in your house?
I could lay down.
I'm really not sure what the right choice is here. I suppose if you were seen,
Guess we'll just
you
chill
know,
in your.
openly in the streets and nowhere near the Matham house. I don't know. I'm just questioning the
Depends
correct
on
way
if
to
you
go
guys
about
want our
this.
support or not.
Daggett
Me.
and Rifflin should be seen headed west out of town, though they haven't been seen.
Me and old Rifflin would be just fine, not catching any heat off of this. But
What if you led some of the bounders away to the north, just out of town, on
what
some
would make
fool's
them
errand?
follow us? Oh, I got you.
I mean, so
Telling Timmy
on one
Stacklewell something.
on one hand, I don't know why they would be willing to go learn from me and then accuse me of a crime.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially if you were with them the whole time. That's my thought, is just stay in their presence. So then
Yeah.
the only person who needs to be undiscovered is Gamel.
Right. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with running
Okay.
into them on purpose. And
So I'm gonna walk straight in the front door of the Matham house.
Yeah, Gamble has a question there. Wasn't there something about a dog?
Yes, there's definitely a dog guarding the Gamel house, or guarding the Matham house.
Hope he saves some of the sausages.
he speaks dog.
Do we have any more sausage? And wash your hands. I have some soap, actually. I'm gonna offer Gamel some soap.
Bark. Somebody speaks dog now. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you can just talk to the dog. Fluent.
Fluent dog. That's the wrong dog. Oh, yeah. He's gonna roll a 20 on a talk to dog check every time.
Yeah, he
When
is.
it comes to something that actually has some substance, he's gonna roll that one. Throw out that one.
So do I need to just hang with
Yeah, you guys come up
The
with
Ruffin?
a plan to deal with the bounders, and while you're dealing with the bounders, Gamel and I will go to the Matham house. I'll go in the front door, and you come in some other way.
Yeah. I'm a ranger of the north, and he's kind of my squire. Like, he carries my stuff.
Well, there's only one door front. There's only one main door into the Matham house. There's not like a back door to it. That you all know of.
There's a skylight.
There is the roof light. Yeah, you can get in through the window on the roof. You could.
All right, so I'm headed out.
That would almost be like flipping into the fire if he dropped in that roof and rolled a 1 on a climb check or something. It'd be perfect.
I was hoping for that in the barn.
It'd be perfect.
I just knew he was going to go up there and fall. I wanted it so bad.
All right, so
I'll loan Gamel my rope.
and
I
y'all are
have
going
rope.
into the Matham house during the day, right?
I'm going in the front door.
Okay, and so during the day, there's people in there. There's kids. It's like people are looking around. It's like think like the same kind of atmosphere as like a public library / museum. You know, there's kind
Too
of this,
busy.
there's kind of this quietness to it, but it's not, you know, it's not solemn, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a museum. People aren't being boisterous, but they're also not just being solemn. People are just looking at things, reading, enjoying, having conversations, whispers, that sort of thing.
Seems like it would be difficult for me to make enough of a ruckus to.
Let's fix and get dirty, boys. I can tell you right now, it is.
There's a
We know,
dwarf
Riff,
climbing the
we
roof.
better be pretty close.
I'm gonna tell you when it got.
Don't get negative in a Hobbit town.
Tell you when it got bad.
Yeah,
It's
it ain't
whenever
gonna be.
that sentence right there was typed up in the chat earlier.
That's exactly right. And
That's when it got bad.
those two guys right there, they're still. Ain't no day cat burglars, man.
Hulk's rolled a
I mean,
one.
Hulik said,
I
"Let's
mean-
do it during the day," and we jumped on the
Oh,
bandwagon. I have no idea why we did that.
Yeah.
I just can't argue with the
Someone
Stone
proclaimed
foot, you know.
loudly previously, I speak owl. Everybody's like,
Yeah,
we follow you anywhere now.
we were so impressed, right?
And everybody's
He
just,
can't
That's
have a
right. He
bad idea.
does some magical stuff.
yeah, he like secretly rolled a hypnotize check in the dice tower and just rolled a 20 on y'all. And y'all just did. That wasn't Al he was speaking. He cast a spell.
That's right.
I can't wait. Go get that map, boys. We'll be out here.
I'm just gonna lean up against a building nearby.
In broad daylight, a dwarf is going to climb on the roof of one of the most respected places in the Shire.
Yes.
No. I said I'm not very athletic.
It's the ultimate stealth.
I mean, I'm going to say yes if he says he's going to do that. So,
Bilbo got
So-
this wrong.
So we go in the front door and just try to pickpocket it.
Is there a restroom that has a window in it?
I mean, you don't know. You'd have to
Some
go
gas
into
station.
the Mayhem house and go into the restroom facilities in order
But
to.
Olo would know this answer,
I don't.
right?
I mean, I can go check.
Surely he's used the restroom at the Maven house since he
Yeah,
lives
It's
gotta
there.
go
it's
check.
like morning now, right? It's
Yeah.
next day. All right, I'm going to the
Yeah.
Madam House.
Okay. So yeah, and the question concerning the window in the restroom, as soon as you say that, there's kind of this weird look, like, are you kidding? It's the same look that you got when you said "I speak owl" really loudly. It's kind of an odd. The bathroom windows are not normal, but I mean,
Yeah.
you could go ahead and look around. If you
Yeah, I'm
wanted-
going in and just enjoy the show. See if there's anything new I haven't seen since last time I was here.
Pretty,
I'm pretty sure bathrooms aren't a thing in the Shire.
So one thing you do notice in the Mayhem house, and no one pays you any mind when you go into the Mayhem house, is that the display you were talking about Bull Took and his magisterial club, and you notice that the place where it's supposed to be is there, but the club is missing.
Do I know the matron, or is it obvious who it is?
It's Malba, the custodian. He mentioned Bilbo mentioned her, and Bilbo
Yeah.
didn't like her because
I'm just going to ask her about it directly. What happened to old Bull Roar's club?
He says, "Yeah, it's kind of a mystery. We're not exactly sure where Bull Roar's club went to. It was on loan to us, and it has disappeared."
That's odd. Do you have things come up missing often?
Well, the Mathams, and the Mathams are the things inside the Mayhem house.
Yeah.
The Mathams come and go, but this was not something that we were aware of.
What do you think you'll put in its place to keep the house full?
Well, we're hoping that we'll find the club, but of course, people have always got different sorts of things to fill up our old house here. And she kind of looks around adoringly at the different things that are in the house.
What's your favorite piece?
What is her favorite piece? That's a really good question. She says, I really like this, and she picks up this little pouch that she just pulls off. It's like on a little pedestal, and she said, Gandalf left this in the Green Dragon many years ago, and we just assumed that it had some kind of magic properties to it, and so we left it here. And she puts it back down and pats it. And to you, it looks like an empty tobacco pouch.
Right, so it's fair. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes, enjoying the displays. And while I'm here, I'd like to figure out where the map is.
Okay, so roll investigation. All right. So yeah, you look around and you see all the different mathens that are on display, and you kind of notice over in the corner there's an area that looks a little more disheveled and not necessarily as well kept. And you look over there and you see a large paper that's rolled up, and it looks like a map. All right, Gamble, roll us. What kind of check do we need to roll? I need a Hulix check is what I need.
Yeah.
I just need a Hulix skill.
You're doing that one.
And you need to roll a deception check. That's what you need to roll. Okay.
Oh,
You walk
sure.
in and you start kind of perusing the Mathams as well, and people are used to seeing dwarves around these parts, so they just kind of look at you and think, it's weird, but it's not uncommon to see a dwarf walking on the East Road, maybe stopping off to look at some Mathams. Hey, there's probably some dwarven Mathams around these parts as well.
I distinctly do not want to interact with Gamble while we're in the Matham house. We're not together.
All right. So y'all are making it apparent that you're not together. You know what? I think that needs a check as well, doesn't it? It does. I'm going to roll that in the box because I can. It's going to be a riddle check. Because why shouldn't it be a riddle check?
The other two are outside, right?
Oh yeah, it just made me roll them all. But yeah, you guys don't even look like you're together. You seem pretty unassuming.
Well, after I have enjoyed all the displays, I'll just go outside and find somewhere nearby to sit down and smoke.
All right, so you can do that.
Good luck.
Oh, Gamble's on his own, boy.
Gamble's running.
Been nice knowing you, partner.
That coin landed on heads this time.
It did.
I just walked
You
by
did
and
pretty
smelled.
good. It was a low DC, thankfully. So yeah, all right, so yeah, so you actually see something that you recognize as coming from the Lonely Mountain, because that's where you're from, and there's like a puzzle box, and it's very intricately made. It's made out of silver, and very intricately made. And Malva, the Hobbit custodian of the area, sees that you're looking at it, and she says, "Oh, I figured you would like this one."
Can you tell me anything about it, like how you or how the Maven House or acquired this piece?
It was given to us by one of Bilbo's friends. I don't remember all their names.
So, how does Gamble know what to steal? I thought that was the Olo get in there, and now Olo is left behind. Did you point it out to him?
No,
No, I did not interact with him at all.
there was there was actually
Well,
there was
miscommunication.
actually a roll that was made so that they didn't seem as if they were interacting with one another. Yeah. So,
Okay.
And then
I
she
get-
looks at the puzzle box and she says, "It's a pretty thing, but I don't know how it works." Is what she says.
Would you like me to show you how it works?
She picks it up and hands it to you, and it's heavy. She doesn't struggle with it, but it's heavier than it looks. It's really dense. And yeah, you have no trouble.
Oh,
You have no trouble
okay.
showing her the intricacies of the puzzle box. And then after you're done, you twist a couple things, and it goes back to its original shape. And she just is amazed.
How many
Yep.
people are in the, or not people, but how many patrons are there in the Maven House at this time?
That many.
5. Okay. Does that include me and this caretaker?
Yep. There's 5. There's 3 other people.
Okay.
Maybe you guys got a little budding romance here. Maybe could be our.
She, when she walked over to you, you noticed that she kind of had the what are you taking out of my storekeeper vibe, but now she's just kind of, you feel like she's dropped that a little bit.
And I guess I have no idea what this map is that we're looking to steal.
No,
Is
Are
that
there a
correct?
lot of maps in there?
there's a lot of paper in there.
A lot of paper in there.
A lot of paper.
I mean, a lot of the
Our
papers up on
lone
the
thief,
wall.
did he know what he's taking?
A lot of the papers on the wall. So there are maps on the wall.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. But and the description that was given to all of you was it's a map of the Shire, and it was drawn by the Old Took himself, and the Old Took was really, it's been a while. It's Bilbo's grandfather. Bilbo's in his 70s or so, and in this timetable, and so it's 100 years plus old. So it's an old map. You do know those things.
Okay. I just want to continue to have, light conversation with this person as I'm looking around, maybe asking her just to point out and show me some of the older things that are in the Maven house.
So are you trying to smooth a little bit?
I mean, not really, but just making light conversation.
Just light conversation. I got you. All right. Yeah, so she takes you around and she shows you a pickaxe, and she shows you another, like a piece of ore, and she says that there's a lot of people in Mickle Delving that think there's mithril in this piece of ore. And you look at it and you know that there's no mithril in it, but you don't let that on to her.
No.
She's convinced of the value of her things,
Mm-hmm.
And you look around and you see value in some things and not value in other things, of course. Like the puzzle box was a valuable item, but the piece of iron ore is not that valuable.
So what is the oldest thing that you have on display?
She says, well, and then she points to this empty display on the wall, And she said that was one of them, and it's gone now. And she talks about this club, and as soon as she starts talking about it, you remember the story that was told to you on the previous evening about this man.
Golf
Bull
was
Roar.
invented.
No, yeah, how golf was invented. And if you say that to her as she's telling you,
I mentioned the name. Is it Bull Roar?
yeah, and she says, "Oh, you
And
know of old Bull Roar took."
I've heard tales of such things.
Oh, and she kind of looks at you even more approvingly. She's impressed.
Did you say Bull Roar took?
Yeah, like Bull Roarer took.
That's his nickname. His actual name was Brandibus.
Yeah.
But is this the same took that drew the map?
No.
Or would I know that?
Yeah, you would know that. The old took is somebody else.
Is there anything else on display from the tooks?
Roll a riddle check. I like that check. It's just it fits the thing that you don't. You're not trying to deceive. Oh. And she's just as soon as she says, "Oh," she kind of like really gets excited. Like she's just thrilled that she's being asked all these questions because no one ever asks anything. And she walks over to the corner and sees this. There's this rolled up big piece of paper that's rolled up, and she kind of motions you to come over, and she's laying out the paper, and she says, "I've kept this over here in this corner because I've been concerned because of people inquiring about this old map, but this map was drawn by the old Took himself." And when she says old Took, she kind of has this, like she mentions somebody important as she says his name.
What is special about this map other than it was drawn by the old Took himself?
And she says, and I wouldn't expect you to understand, but the fact that the old Took drew it is what makes it special. And you look at it and you see a map of the Shire, and it's similar to the maps that Bilbo had. It's similar to the one that he drew on, but this one looks, hand drawn.
I'm going to continue to just make conversation about old Took and why he was so important and things of that nature.
Regale you with old Took, because he was just kind of he was a leader, held the Shire together in the tough times.
Then I want to ask her if there's, oftentimes there's things that aren't on display that's in a back room. And just ask her if there's anything that they don't have out on rotation of display right now.
She says
that would be interesting to an old dwarf like myself.
To a dwarf like myself, and she says, "Well, there are some gems that are supposedly came directly from Lonely Mountain, and would you like to see those?"
Yeah, if you could go and get those, that'd be much appreciated.
See, she kind of whisks away. She's just
what
thrilled.
the crap is about to go down right here?
She's so thrilled that she's thrilled that you're just asking her. She's so happy to have her job, and she's so happy that people are asking her questions. She just floats away.
Okay, those three other people, how close are they to me?
Got the ultimate roll coming up.
They're not close or far away. They're just, and the Matham house has got all this stuff, so it's
right.
And everybody's pretty low. and so it's all pretty low too. I mean, imagine being
Yeah.
in like the produce section of a grocery store, something like that.
Okay. But for the most part, people aren't paying attention to me, right?
No, they're all looking at stuff. They, you could tell they were looking over every once in a while, but at the conversation you were all having. But because of Malva's ease with you, they are at ease with you also.
Well, I want to quickly, silently, not making any commotion as much as possible, roll up this map and leave with it.
All right, well, that's gonna be a roll for you. Let's see what this roll
Oh,
is.
no.
Yeah, here's the roll.
It's a sleight of hand. That's exactly what this roll is.
And leave. You're just gonna leave? Nice.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's give you advantage on this roll because the people they're at ease with you. So you can take advantage on this roll.
Okay. I just push advantage, right?
I think so. I think that'll do it.
Well, here we go, boys. Either I'm going to jail or we're going back to Baggins.
That's how it always is.
It's 100 or 0. Nice. All right. So you're able to stash that map pretty adeptly. And you said you're going to walk out immediately. Is that what you said?
I mean, while she's gone, yes.
Okay. So yeah, you were able to do that thing. And you sneak out of the Matham house in broad daylight as a dwarf with a precious artifact of the
Of course
Shire.
he does.
He schmoozed that lady, man. He schmoozed
Yes,
her.
he did. Yes, he did.
All right. So there you go. Y'all have the old Took map.
I just want to watch what Gamel does as he exits.
He looks as smooth as the other side of the pillow. He just looks like you can't really even tell if he's done something or he hasn't.
Right.
Because he's just so smooth.
I mean, my intention is to meet back up with him again, but I don't want everyone around town to know that we're together.
Right.
So I'm just gonna observe him, and if he heads off, I'll tail him at some distance.
I'll do the same.
Where are you headed, Gamel?
What's you said the houses were tightly packed around here and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get out of line of sight of the Maven house as quickly as possible. Like as soon as possible, not quickly necessarily, but as soon as possible so that they can't come out the door. She can't come out and say, hey, that's the person right there.
Yeah, no, you can do that pretty easily.
Okay. And then once I do that, I want to make my way Mirandingly? Is that a right word?
No.
No.
Good word. But
Meanderingly.
Yeah, meandering is what you're looking for.
I want to make my way back to Olo's house.
All right. So you see him head in a general direction toward your house.
Okay, I'm going to head out of town to the east and not go home.
All right. And where are Shaggy and Rifflin right now?
I was like kind of outside of the building, maybe I don't know what you would call it, not a block, but where I could see him come out, but not obvious that I'm with him. And I was going to do the same thing Micah did and just slowly trickle behind.
Because I knew y'all weren't going in, and you're just kind of hanging out. Okay.
I'm gonna see Gamel go into Olo's house and Olo walk by his house and kind of just shake my head in confusion and follow Olo.
All right. Well, y'all are you feel pretty careful. You feel pretty safe, other than the fact that, there were 3 other people in there, and this map's missing now.
Yeah, I think we need to put a
There's-
little distance here.
There's evidence, there's
Ross,
real
what are y'all
evidence that
doing?
someone took something now, as
Oh.
opposed to it's been took, but we have no idea. Now there's just 4 hobbits and a strange dwarf.
The shower, babe.
But yeah, you're able to leave. You've not drawn any attention to yourself. There's no like alarms being set or anything. So are y'all wanting to like just head like back?
I think we should
We cut back to the barn.
I think we should just get out of Mickle Delving to the east and just wait and see what Gamel does. Because we're not together, right?
Right.
I mean, we're still split up.
I mean, you could probably get together pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But because there's no alarm or anything right now. And, the way that, just kind of as an aside, the way that this rule set works is it kind of focuses on the there. And as long as you don't screw anything up horribly, the way back is kind of given.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, we can play it that way unless y'all want to do something
So
completely
2 days
Oh,
pass
yeah.
and we're at Bag End, basically.
Yeah, y'all could make
Yeah,
it back to Bag
that's
End.
fine.
But I will say this, and this will kind of like bring us into the next play session. So if you want to go back the way that you came, generally, Waymeet and then in that area, and you're going to see people too. You do kind of hear whispers of some kind of burglary at the May of the Mouse, but no one seems to be looking at you suspiciously. In fact, people kind of wave and smile, at looking at you kind of in familiar ways as they see you. But yeah, if you're gonna, and especially if y'all are cutting across country, you're not gonna see as many people. But you do hear, and especially as you get back into Hobbiton, and if you go back to Bag End, Bilbo tells you that he says, I don't know what you did, but news has traveled over the West Farthing that something has went down at Mickle Delving, and he kind of has a little devilish grin on his face when he says that. And there we go.
Nice.
That will
Okay.
and Bilbo's super pumped about, he like looks at his map and he like starts looking at his walls, and you can tell that he's just over thrilled about it.
If I've had time in the last couple of days, I would have studied that map intensely as well.
Oh yeah, you've had plenty of time to look at it and
transpose any
Yep.
any new information over to my own maps and whatnot.
Yep. The big thing you notice is just the care that he took in recording things, and
Right.
man,
Yeah, this is not like some wild country that I don't know the ways around. There's not a lot of new information on the map, I wouldn't think.
Mm-mm. I think I can just.
All right. Nice. That was good. I liked it.
Yeah, man, that's fun. What's Bilbo Baggins memoirs? Hoolix has been writing stuff.
He is this whole game. That's what he's been
He's
doing,
been
man.
Sneaky, yeah.
Man, ChatGTP wrote that.
Sure did. Sure did.
100%.
I love it though, man. That's a good use of tools. Let me see if I can. I don't even know how this works, but I think I can do this and like, I don't know. Boop. Perfect. Yeah, gave y'all some XPs for that, for your troubles.
Does show them somewhere? I don't even know where XP is on this thing.
It should. I think it's on your sheet now. Should be main. Maybe not. Maybe if you click beside Treasure Hunter, like or besides your calling. Yeah, there it is. So the little magnifying glass beside your underneath calling and level. It says XP total 150. Yep.
Nice.
I think I should earn some bonus points in animal handling.
Yeah, I mean,
Why do you need them?
that's right.
Just a flex? I mean,
Funny. All right. Good times. We're back at the, what is it called, like a safe haven or?
Yeah, y'all safe haven is bag end right now, and we can. I didn't want to be too rules heavy tonight, you know. So like, there's these things like, because Bilbo's kind of your patron at this time,
Yeah.
and that gives you some bonuses, and then on the next one, what we're gonna, you know, we'll have more of some randomness to the travel because you're going to be in more wild type areas. And so we'll roll some encounter tables and that kind of thing.
I love the travel rules in this thing with
I think
the
they're
different
awesome.
roles during travel, and somebody's got to be the hunter and somebody's got to be the scout.
Yeah, I think it's
all that kind of
fantastic.
stuff.
We'll have more of that next time, but I just wanted to keep it really skills check rules light tonight, and you can still have tons of fun just doing that.
Oh yeah, everybody will remember the night that old Gamble talked to an owl.
And
Sure will.
The Hobbit lady and just
talk
took
to the
maps.
Hobbit lady like she was the owl. Yeah.
And just took maps from that place and walked out of there like you own the joint. It's like when the movies, you know, when the dude walks away and it just explodes behind him.
The building.
That's exactly what Hulix did.
Yes, it is.
Just put his sunglasses on as he was walking out. The Hobbit children were just like looking at him and just oohing and awing.
And I found a webpage that's got all the poems, the little short poems from Tolkien, and I'm gonna make abusive use of them in this chat thing right here too.
I saw those.
We're singing bar songs. All right.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
headed to
nice.
bed.
Yep, that was fun, guys.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Later.
appreciate it.
Later,
Later.
guys.
Yep.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that stream. That was a lot of fun.